Hey guys, quick video. We're going to do a tour of the RMS system. I know it's a very large program, so I might have to break this video down into two parts, but we'll see what we can get through in a reasonable amount of time here. So we're going to log in to our demo data, which is actually modeled after the TV show Bob's Burgers. So if you've ever seen it, it's a really funny animated TV series about a family that runs a small burger joint. So we've kind of modeled our demo data after the Bob's Burgers restaurant and sort of expanded on it. So now it's actually a corporation called Robert's Hamburger Corporation with multiple locations. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to log in as the president of the corporation, which is Robert. So we've entered his username and his password here, and we can log into the system. And there we go, up comes the RMS screen. So essentially, no matter what access level you're logging in at, the screen is going to look fairly similar. It's going to have three very similar components. One is the menu screen up top here, which is these icons directly access components of the software. It's going to have a listing box over on the left-hand side here, and you're going to first thing you see when you log in is your dashboard. So in this case, like I said, we're logged in as Robert Belcher. So he's the president of the Robert's Hamburger Corporation. So he's going to get probably a few more notifications than the other users because he's going to get notifications on everything beneath him. So he may not necessarily be responsible for these notifications. He's got people in place to deal with them, but this lets him know that this stuff's going on. So it's a nice little way to get a snapshot of what's going on in the company. So, if there's things that are really overdue, it might be time to crack down. It makes people accountable and allows the people higher up to see exactly what people have dropped in terms of, this needs to be taken care of and it wasn't. So right off the bat here, there's a few things that require attention. So there's an inspection that happened at the Bob's Burgers Penticton location, so very high risk. So that's probably something we wanna deal with. We can click on this button here and get some more details of the inspection. So it shows us essentially it was a health inspector, the date it happened, the inspection came from one of our team members, who the inspector was, why the inspection happened. It shows us there's three critical violations. So staff wasn't washing their hands, the burgers weren't being cooked to proper temp, and the fridge was broken, and food was being stored in a camping cooler. So again, if you've watched Bob's Burgers, this is pretty day-to-day stuff for that show. But in their corporate world, these are some pretty substantial issues, and we want to make sure we take care of those. So that gives us a quick snapshot of what happened with that inspection. So hopefully somebody's going to take care of those issues. The next thing is temperature logs. So we actually have the ability to track temperature logs in a location. So it looks like here we've actually got some issues with the temperature log in Osoyoos. So let's pull open those temp logs and see what's going on. And we'll look at the date. So nothing for today, but we'll go look at yesterday's. Oh, there we go. So we had some temperature log issues yesterday. So the nice thing about temperature logs is you can set up as many stations as you want, and you can set up as many timestamps to take those temperature readings as you want. So in this case, we only check 2 stations and we only do it twice a day. But in both cases yesterday, the burger grill failed miserably. So that's probably something we want about 160 degrees, and that burger grill didn't even hit the threshold. So up comes a warning for us. So again, that's probably something that we want our regional manager to take care of, or even the staff on site to say, hey, what's going on with that burger grill? Inspector comes in and sees that, he's not going to be happy. So there's also some permits here. It looks like we've got 3 permits expired or nearing expiration. So let's see what's going on there. All right, so the Osoyoos location, the business license has expired by 65 days. That's not good. In Penticton, our liquor license is going to expire in 6 days, so that's probably something we want to renew before it runs out. And the Penticton location business license has also expired. So yeah, there's 3 pretty critical issues that we'd want to make sure get solved so it doesn't cause us any downtime or extra fines. Looks like we've got some higher packs that require attention. So yeah, a bunch in the Osoyoos location, a bunch in the Penticton location. So again, let's get our GM or our regional manager on top of that and say, hey, what's going on? Why are these higher packs not completed? And looks like there's a few certifications that have expired as well, or this one's about to expire in 6 days. So that's Jim Rogers, his Food Safe Level 1 in the Osoyoos location. And Bob's Food Safe Level 1 has expired by 1,800 days. So that expired back in 2011. So that's probably something we want to get him back and recertified. And same thing with Linda, his wife. So her first aid certificate has expired for about a year. So there we go. There's some quick snapshots. Obviously, we've got some issues going on, so we need to get the appropriate person in to look at those. So this is our dashboard screen. We can always get back to the dashboard screen by clicking on the home button here. So that takes us back, and anywhere we are in the program, we just click on that and it takes us right back to this main screen. The next button over is contacts. So this allows us to search any of the contacts in our corporate world. So that's any of our staff, any of our management, any of our customers as well. So if you want to find somebody, you can just type in a name or a piece of information, hit search, and it'll pull up all the corresponding people that match that search. And what it's looking for is it's going to search their first name, their last name, and their email address. So if I want to do a really vague search, I can just search Bob, and it's going to find the Bob and Bob Belcher, but it's also going to find the Bob and Bob's Burgers.com. So all these people have that criteria in their email address, so it's going to pull all those people up off this really vague search. All right, and the third button is our application settings. I'm not going to get into that in too much detail. That's going to be more of a system admin setting, so we'll probably do a separate video to discuss that. Chances are you won't have access to that button. That's going to be something only the system administrator gets in and needs to do. Next over, there's 3 resource icons. So we have news, we have manuals, and we have forms. These are essentially storage containers for you to pass on information or resources to make accessible to your team members. So the first one is news. We can take news, we can divide it into categories, we can customize those categories. There's a search box, so we can go back and look for historic news. If there's something we know that we didn't get a chance to read or we want to reread, we can find it with search text. So we just have one news story listed in here right now. It's Bob's Burgers soapbox team wins big. I can click on here to read more details about the story. If there's any information I can read about it, I can add a comment. I can click on the pictures and see a bigger view of them. So the news is information that you want to pass on to your team. So, this is a feel-good story, but you might find an example of maybe a scam was run in one of your locations. So you want to document that scam, post it in the news section, and let the other users of your company know, hey, this is a scam that you might encounter. So now our eyes are open and we're ready for it if it comes our way. So in this case, this user, the president, has the ability to edit news stories and also delete stories, but this is a security thing. So you can actually lock this down so people can only read or access this information. So that's the news section. The second resource section is manuals. So this is a great place to organize all our policies and procedures manuals, our handbooks, any sort of manual. It might be an equipment manual, and we can just put it in here. It's all nice and organized. Again, categorize, customize the categories, and you can search for it. So just a great place. People can click on that manual, it opens right up, so it's just a quick, easy way to get reference to all those manuals. And then the third resource section is forms, and again, PDF forms. We can categorize them, we can search for them. I've just got one form in our demo version here, and that's our employer's report of injury form. So, if one of my staff cut their finger, I'm gonna have to punch up this form, fill it out, send it off to health and safety, and make sure we get this issue all taken care of. So again, I can categorize all my forms, I can search for forms, but this is just a quick reference for people to get information. Now, one trap you don't want to fall into, and I've seen this lots, is people just start dumping information here. So let's say this form gets updated by WCIB BC. We don't just want to throw in a new version of it. We actually want to get rid of the old version, and this software allows you to do that. So I can actually just overwrite the old version and put in the new version. What really makes it tough on your staff is if you've got 17 versions of the same form and they're trying to find out, okay, which one's the current one. So rather than that, let's just have one listing, it's the current version, and everybody's on the same page. So it makes it nice and easy. Now, we also have a reports button here. This is a reports section, and I'll probably do a complete separate video on the reports section as well. But these are all reports you can run within the software. So, and as the software grows, so will this section. We love writing the reports, so this is going to grow immensely, but we'll get into that in another video. And then we also have this last icon here, which is support tickets. So this may or may not be a feature you're using. This is actually a module we plug into your corporate website, and it plugs into the Contact Us webpage. So when a customer fills out that Contact Us form, that message is actually plopped right into the RMS website here, or the RMS software, so your staff can answer those questions and create a discussion with that customer. It tracks the discussion, it tracks how satisfied the customer was at the end of the day, and makes sure that their problem is solved. And then if it needs to be, we can escalate it, we can bring in other people into the conversation. So it's just a great way to track all that customer interaction from the website. Three other little buttons up here in the top right-hand corner. There's a IAPS RMS support system. So if you have any problems with the software, you can click on this and open a support ticket. And this goes directly to our support staff. They'll be glad to help answer your questions. Just do us a favor. If you're going to leave us a message, make it detailed. The more details you can provide for us, the quicker and easier we can help you out. So if you're going to be really vague, it's going to be tough for us to answer those questions or solve your problems. So again, please, lots of detail in those. When they respond, you'll see their response. It puts everything in nice chronological order in here. And you'll also notice up in this icon, there'll be a little red balloon that says, hey, one of the support staff have responded to my question. So you can click on it and see what the response entailed. The next button is the logout screen. So you can click on here and log out of the app. I'm not going to log out right now because we're still going through this. And then the third button is change the password. So by default, your system admin is going to provide you a default password. It's going to be a long series of numbers and letters. So you probably want to change that to something you use on a more common basis. So we have to enter the old password in first, your new password, and confirm. And then your new password has to meet this criteria. So it's got to be at least 8 characters, 1 small case, 1 uppercase, 1 number, and 1 special character punctuation. So there you go. You can change your password. All right, so that's the menu screen up top here. Let's go over here and look at the list box. So again, this is the president logged in. So he's going to see the corporate container, and he can go in and enter or edit any of this corporate related information. So we'll probably make another video just dealing with corporations and the information within it. And then there's also 3 locations. So he's got a home office and 2 burger locations. And again, we'll go do a separate video and talk about each of the menu items in the location here, because there's lots of detail and information in here we can track and tools we can use. All right, so that's a quick tour of the RMS application, and maybe what we'll quickly do is I'm just going to log in quickly as a GM, and we can just see some of the quick differences. So instead of Robert, we're going to log in as Bob, and he's actually the GM of our Penticton Bob's Burgers location. So let me get our credentials in here. Let me get my password in here. There we go. So a few buttons are missing off the menu. We don't have our application settings, and we don't have support tickets. So obviously the system admin says, hey Bob, we don't need you to answer those support tickets coming in. We've got somebody at head office that takes care of that. Our require attention screen is a little bit smaller because it's narrowed it down. It's only saying, Bob, you only need to deal with these points within your location. So there's my 2 permits within the Penticton location. There's my hire packs within the Penticton location, and also my certificates for just my staff that I need to worry about. So it narrows it down and says, hey, this is just GM of your location related info. Now, in my list box, I still have the Robert Hamburgers Corporation button, but no access into that corporate level screen. But I do have access into my location screen. So anything below me, I can look at. And one last quick thing I'm going to show you is the contacts. So I can still search out my staff. So we'll look at Linda. She's actually a hostess at the Penticton location, and I can edit all the details in here. Now the program is very security strong, so you can actually change whether people have the ability to edit any of these tools. But again, that's going to be another video. We'll just talk about security and what you're able to lock down and what you're able to show people, depending on what access you want to give them. What we will quickly show you here, though, is we'll go search out the president of the company. So there we go. It finds him, Robert Belcher. He's the president, and he's located in home office. So let's bring up his details. So pretty limited. I actually can't see too much. I can just see his name and where he's located, and I can't even edit his details. So it's been locked down. As a GM, I don't need to get into the president's record and make any changes or log in or make any edits there. Anyways, hope that helps you out finding your way through the software, and check back for some future videos. We'll try to get into a few more of these sections in some more detail. Thanks, and talk to you soon.